Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Whole Perspective. My name is Kevin Delory, as always, joined by Kenny Phillips. Today, we have on our show Chris Griffith and Nathan, not the sheriff of Nottingham, but Nathan Nottingham, the duo behind Vetted VA. You know, I've gotten to know these guys, got to go out to a NASCAR race, which whole nother story, believe it or not. I've been to a NASCAR race and really got to know a lot about them and how passionate they are about what they do. But before we get into it, Kenny's going to share a little bit of background about Chris and Nathan.
Absolutely. Welcome, guys. Chris is an entrepreneur, educator, motivator, and Marine veteran. He's dedicated his time into personally understanding what the VA Home Loan Guarantee can do to change lives and creating better solutions that will make it easier for veterans to get the mortgage they want with all the perks and they desire. Nathan is a seasoned entrepreneur as well, speaker, consultant, business leader. Who's got to start in real estate industry as a loan officer. His passions are built on good education, protection for consumers. He is dedicated to helping people get real about what it means to live their life on purpose and striving towards the things that matter most. Welcome, guys.
Hey, guys,
Wow,
we're lucky to have you on the show, man. But I do have the first question, right? So I've been thinking about this because with the exception of the beard, you guys couldn't be any further apart. Like it's like talking to, and I think that's what makes it work. Like Kenny and I, it's like yin and yang. And, you know, how did you guys get together? I'm sure it wasn't like some beard board somewhere about, you know, how to maintain your beard because it works so well. How did you guys get together?
Nathan, you want to tell the meet cute?
Yeah. So, I mean, Christopher, you know, he found me, you know, he called me. He's like, hey, I want to hang out and talk. There you go. No, I mean, there's more to it. I think there's more to it. I think Christopher's
I won't call Renee. Nate needs some storytelling help. Come on.
I do. I need to work on that with Renee.
So how did it happen?
Nate was a corporate trainer to some degree, and many other things outside of that. Had a lot of history in and around housing and community development with chambers of commerce, with different businesses. And he's someone that I see is not really just an architect, but kind of an engineer. And then he also frames it too in a lot of different ways. So I encountered him in some of the mortgage compliance training that was doing, largely video based. He had great addiction, poise on camera, certainly in his bow tie, his picturesque bow tie. If y'all haven't seen it, you need to. Dude rocks a bow tie. Anyway, but someone that I kept bumping into him, like having to watch this dude's face all the time anyways. And I'm thinking through the process of what I kind of got bent about on Facebook and knew I had to work on, or else I was just someone complaining that wasn't going to work on an issue. And it would begin immediately. It was like, well, crap, what do I do from here? Who do I need? Like, and so kind of pursued Nathan. I got to know him a little bit. He continually progressed in a few different directions. And then kind of all at once, we got to the point to where the community had grown and the need was such that we could make a transition into and stand up what would become ultimately our full stock kind of vetting process, protocol, if you will, and how we would integrate directly with the consumer without violating like the weird trust things. So outside of that, we got to getting to know each other. Really, the personal stuff too that I think cemented it more than anything. We had a great working personal relationship. We're very different, but we're not that different. But we're very different, right? Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things. And like whatever, he lets me be me. I let him be him. And when neither of us are being us, the other person usually heckles the person back to the point. Like it is what it is, you know.
That's well said. I think the other thing was, I met Christopher at the AIM at an AIM event in 2019, and I was like, "Who's this bearded guy?" It's just got all these people around him talking. He's so animated, you know. And it was like when I came to find out that his passion drove his purpose, I was like, "Wow, this is pretty awesome." And when he invited me into the kind of the mission and allowed me to be who I was, that was, that's a lot of purpose and passion lead to pretty strong performance when they're put together. And so we do I think we're really good friends where it matters, and we're really good friends where it doesn't matter. And that means from calling each other out to just letting each other be who we are. We've gotten to know each other, and I know when he's feeling stressed, I'm like, go play with your cows, man. Leave. like go away for a while.
We've both been married enough, and we know how marriage works.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Well, Kenny and I are not good at marriage, but we are good at our relationship. If we were married, we'd probably be on our first. Unfortunately,
Rephrase.
yeah.
We aren't good at it. We just know specifically what not to do.
Right.
So,
You guys are really passionate about the mortgage business, but really the next level about veterans, which is awesome. And Chris, I know that you were in the Marines, right? So you have that background, but Nathan, you're just as passionate about it, which is awesome because it's like, well, people say, well, how can he relate? So how do you relate so much to the veteran? Because you are just as much you are just as passionate as Chris, who served. Like, where does that come from?
Oof. No one has asked me that question yet. I really appreciate it. I really do. So let me just say it this way. I'm the son and grandson of veterans, right? So my dad served in Vietnam and my grandfather served in World War II. And I was going to go into service. And my dad's like, look, I fought, I worked. You're smarter than I am. Don't. Like, I did that. Don't do that. Go into college. And I'm a child of the 80s. And so I think out of all of that, I have great respect, having been raised in that way. But more so, I chose a path, a different path. Christopher chose a different path. That to me, it's what was that old poem, "The Path Less Taken," right? The road less traveled. That's the road I went down, right? And so there's still a consideration for it. Here's where it kind of hits home, though. I have still family members who have served, and I think my reason for justice and wanting fair play in all things for people in service is that there is no other group I can think of in mortgage and real estate that is identified, marketed to, and frankly abused in marketing structure than the veteran borrower who contractually completed an earned entitlement to a very strong mortgage and real estate transaction loan product, right? And then they are identified and easily pulled from any list of hundreds of different listicle systems that say, hey, let's market to these people because they served our country. And they're just told, here's what you need to do. But my passion is more into the people and the personhood of the people I serve. As I get to know them and get to know their stories, I feel just pulled in to guard, control, and protect for them, right? Like, I want to serve them specifically. So I think it's where it comes from. And it's just I'm also a builder. And Christopher, man, you spend any amount of time around him, you start getting jazzed and you start seeing his vision. And I will say he's got the type of personality that when he lays it out there and lets you know what he's passionate about, you kind of want to be passionate about the same thing. And then it becomes real. So you fake the funk until all of a sudden it's like, oh, no, that's my passion too. And here's what I'm going to do about it. And so I think it's where it all comes from, Kevin. And it's a great question. Thank you for asking me that one.
Well, I'm excited to spend some time with you guys on July 20th to the 24th. Kenny's not going to be there, but you're missing out, Kenny. The VA summer camp. I couldn't be any more excited. Already going shopping for it. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at that beauty. It's funny.
You bring back one of those hats.
It's funny you said something about caring about the veterans and stuff. And since I got to know you guys, I have looked at a VA loan different. I'm not going to lie. I looked at a lot of things different. True story. I haven't shared this with anyone. This past weekend, I went by to see my grandparents' grave. My uncle's grave is right next door. He's a Korean War plaque, and it was buried. Mm-hmm. I sat there for 10 minutes, I dug it all out, cleaned it all up, and put it back down because it is such a special honor. And I don't know, I wouldn't say that I didn't realize that before I got to know you guys, but to hear how you guys speak about veterans has taken me to another level of taking a step back and really looking at it. I can think of, just what you said. Everyone is, really earmarking for that veteran. And there's been a lot of things where I almost feel like they've changed the rules so lenders could be predatory towards VA loans, right? So a couple of years back, I know, right, Kenny, we were at a company. They were doing it wrong. They were saying, oh, you only need an eighth in 6 months. And they're basically stripping that equity from that veteran. And that's not the right thing to do. That guy fought for this country. That guy served at a time of war. Maybe he didn't fight. All of these things that this program is supposed to be designed to help them. Some people, to your point, Nathan, are taking advantage of it. And, it's just not the right thing to do. And it's so, looking back now, getting to know you guys, hearing the story, I look back and I'm like, shame on you. Shame on you for doing that loan. That wasn't a good loan for that veteran. but because you found a loophole in the rules, you could. So, that's why I'm glad you guys are out there. You guys are pushing for those people. You have your vetted VA program, which is, I'm excited to, you guys said it. It's not going to be easy. You're probably going to fail a lot before you pass.
Right.
I'm excited I'm excited for the challenge.
To piggyback on what you said, Kevin, I'll tell you, these guys made a powerful statement. I heard you say it at EPMX. You kind of alluded to it a little bit just now, Nathan. Chris, you say it all the time. You say, it's the only opportunity in the mortgage finance industry that is earned. And it made me look at the VA loan totally different after I heard those statements from you guys. And you talk about all the falsehoods, and Chris, you challenge people to, combat the ignorance that's out there about the VA loan. What are some of those falsehoods, those falsities that you hear out there, that scare tactics by realtors, things like that about the VA loan?
Well, the first thing I would tell you is biggest falsehood. And it's weird because there are symptoms that definitely show the difficulties in how veterans are treated. But the biggest falsehood is that somehow veterans are different than y'all. No, that's not true. We're just a better average mixing of what y'all looks like, all put together and working together in one place. So the VA loan actually is better at serving minorities without a stated goal, without saying, hey, I notice your shade of green is a little bit darker than Ted's shade of green, so we're going to help you a little bit harder over the. There's none of that nonsense. It's like, listen, you're all green. Shut up and get over the wall. Like, here's what we're going to do. And so I think it's pretty cool to see what happens in a mortgage product that approaches people like that. I think it's neat to see in comparison to even some of the stated mortgage products that exist to serve minorities, which I think are good. Don't get me wrong. What I'm talking about is if you're out there, you're like, oh, we should definitely help minorities. I agree. Y'all should try to do as well as the VA loan does. That's what I'm trying to say. And look at how the VA loan works and why it works that way and figure out how you can create meaning the same. I don't know that it's something that you can across the board everywhere, but veterans really aren't that different. They exist all across the board. You have veterans buying $6 million houses, and you have veterans buying $75,000 single wides at 87 years old in Southern Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I got a little sentimental on a personal story there. Who cares? Whatever it is, the point is delta change, right? Movement is life is a statement that most veterans understand, and that means that you need to be progressing forward to the objective, right? Getting stuck into a spot doesn't give you any advantage outside of needing to do whatever for a temporary period. And so change is measured from one place to the next, and scale is only who cares what your scale's at? I think that it's important that people have opportunity to create drastic and dynamic change in where they began and where they are. That's been my story with the VA loan. And to all the gatekeepers out there, I want to really quick hit back on this other one. I love the way that you asked Nathan his question, because the first one that recognizes the truth of the statement, it's how can you be so passionate? And I see it's a real thing. To all the gatekeepers out there, I got told by a lot of people, this should be a veterans helping veteran vet only. Get out of here with that nonsense. If I made it vet only, half vet, some vets ain't that. Being a vet doesn't mean you're going to be great at mortgage. The reality, it doesn't even mean necessarily that you're going to care more. A lot of people care. A lot of people serve. A lot of people are capable. And every person that's willing to be those things, those are the ones that I want to find, and I couldn't care less about what they've done to now. It's what are you going to do tomorrow? What are we going to do tomorrow? What is the thing that you're focused on? And I think we do a great job of finding people that have that more than anything, a willing desire to be different, to serve different, and to ensure that the people that they want to protect, if you will, are. And so how do you do that? Well, you teach, you train, you educate, you be present, you be accountable. You have systems, checks, balances, you make it somewhat militaresque, if you will. I mean, that's what we did. It wasn't rocket surgery or nothing. Nate's well, how are we going to do this? It's well, that seems like a place where we'd have squads in the Marine Corps, Nathan. It's what? How's that work? It's cool. So let's put it on the board over here.
You guys are definitely more passionate than any group I've seen. And I don't think you're right. It has nothing to do with being veteran, anything else, or your audience. It's just who you are as people. Now, I've only spent a few times with you guys, but it's clear that you're real. There's nothing fake about these two guys. The reason that when I originally was drawn to them about the vetted VA and being part of it is because they're real. And it's kind of what, it's a living, breathing culture. Like I always say to people, why did I choose EPM? Because the culture isn't something that Eddie puts on the wall. It's real. It lives, it breathes. I don't need it on a business card. I know it right here. And that's what you guys have. It's empowering.
We love the word culture, right? But you're right. We say that all the time, Nathan, don't we? We put the cult in culture.
Yep.
It's so true, man. It's clear as day when anyone that gets to talk to you guys. I mean, the fact that you're willing to dedicate, your vet VA program. If anyone doesn't go through and they're doing a lot of VA, they're probably not doing it. And it's not a slam on them. They're probably not doing it the right way and really doing what's best for the veteran. You guys are really making sure that you take people through this program. And if you can't figure it out by the end, I love the fact that you say so many people fail. I want to do it because I feel like I'm going to be a Navy SEAL at the end. I don't want to have to ring the bell. KD's going to get some, I'm getting some real chevrons. I'm getting some real medal. But, I mean, it's impressive. It really is.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who do really good work out there, really, really good work, and they don't need us. What the beautiful part of it is that it's not training people from nothing to something. It's not training people that are already proven it. It's actually in the process of repetition to serve a community without solicitation, without cussing. You're not gaining anything. I will tell you one thing that I miss greatly. I grew up in an era where I was watching the decline of the Lions clubs, the Rotary clubs, right? You think about the towns that had these little, like, I remember in grade school, my principal took me to a Rotary club because I got best kid in 4th grade or something. I don't know what it was, right? Student of the month. Those are they're falling away. People are not community minded in the same way Thursdays for lunch. Community is a place where we can come and ask questions and grow together. The beauty of VA is that there is a mission and a service community. They come in and ask a question. The part of it, the unintended consequences, there is the accountability. Christopher, how many of our people have been really just rock star VA lenders before they joined us, and they come back and say, what scared me the most was you all were going to hold me accountable to what I said I was going to do. I mean, that's a big part of the process.
A lot. I think that's the kind of cool part about what we do is we encounter people where they are, regardless of where they are, promise them that we'll work with them, encounter them in every way that's proper, and opportunity and follow-up to ensure that somehow they'll get better. We started with some of the best, I would just say, just very good people, right? And so taking people that are good at a thing and making them even better, it isn't something that you alone do also. For that matter, it's like we have a whole process, and it's a 20-minute walkthrough, but basically education, exposure, and experience. Like those are the 3 ways everything that you know on the face of this earth has ever come to you as a human, and we create and foster an environment where immersive activity occurs regularly so that all 3 of those bells are rung continually. And further, the environment and the culture is such that they all work together. They're a team. They value the support and the network of it because most of them have been around long enough to know even then, that's when you usually really run into one of those things pretty hard, right? And so that's been the cool part. We're constantly developing training because education's hard. It's hard to get right. It needs to change as things change, especially given that almost everything about the VA loan has a system of change that goes along with it like the others, right? But the cool part is being able to encounter people at different places and creating an atmosphere where change can occur still. Because I think one of the biggest dangers if you're out there and you're watching this, I've been. Oh no, it's on internet again, ain't it?
That's it. Part of living in North Texas, man.
It's part of living in
my Wi-Fi gets where I live.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I think you guys, it's funny. By the way, Nathan, I do belong to the Elks and the American Legion, so I have a very strong sense of. I know you guys would be shocked to hear that, but I went through the whole. Whoops, can't do it. Top secret. You can't see the signal when you become up. I forgot about that. But you're right. It's no different than, we have a junior program here. We take in these young guys, 20 somethings, and we teach them the business. And we want them to be like us because I'm passionate about what I do. I don't want to get out of bed and do something I'm not passionate about. I'd be bored to death. This morning I got to here at 6:30 in the morning. Why? Because I love my job and I'm ready to attack the day and I got stuff to get done. And I think, to share that with somebody and see me personally, watching them succeed is more enjoyable than me doing it myself. I wasn't that way when I was young in my career. It was all about Kevin. And now I'm at a different point in my life where it's like watching these young kids. And, Kenny and I just watched a junior account executive graduate the class last month, and he does over $11 million this month. That makes me feel good because I'm going to change his life. I'm going to change the way he lives. And that's kind of, you guys are so passionate. I think anyone that should want to learn more about this program. It's crazy not to partner with you guys and not to hear what you guys have to say, because it's that same electric energy that will make them better. And you said it earlier, they're probably good at it now. You guys are just giving them another tool, another club in the bag to make them unbelievable.
The danger of becoming great is that eventually you start to rob yourself of the belief that you can be better. In my opinion, like, you should always be a student. There's always growth to pursue. And I think as the great people are the ones that I would say to guard your heart the most. Always be the student. Understand that you may not know, or things may change, because that's when, I don't know, that's whenever for me, like, you don't want to find yourself there. I've run into a lot of professionals that are there too. And I've been there personally too. Like, you get in your own way and then you're in the worst place you can be. So regardless, whether it's with us, with a program like us, there are a lot of programs that train out there. What I'll tell you is, if you are interested in ours, expect this. Ours is the hardest. Ours will take the most time. Ours will make you irritated. It will make you question whatever. It's difficult, because if we're going to do it, it's going to be like our ability to make you fail honestly, regularly, reliably in certain places is everything that you should want to encounter in anybody that you ask to train you. If they can't make you fail, then how on earth can they make you better? Like, failure should promote growth. And that's the first thing that I would tell anybody else that's interested in what we're doing. But I will say, we have a huge need right now. We have several different communities where not only we serve and moderate, our moderators are literally some of the best Facebook moderators you're going to find out there, the most capable, especially in housing. And I guarantee you there's not a crew out there that can do what we do with our embassy strategy, which is where we partner with another Facebook community that has a lot of regular questions in these lanes. We moderate them and we handle all of it. We answer every one of them, and we do that in a way better than what they were doing, from quality, better with consistency, better with approach. Approach is everything with consumers and how you speak. If y'all don't know, text on Facebook can be hard, especially with veterans. Veterans are the biggest terrorists on Facebook. First of all, you don't get in a cussing match with a veteran on Facebook. They're going to hang right off the bat and try to take you out with a GAU8, right? Like, brr. Like, it's not going to go well. So fostering the right type of environment, understanding and creating that kind of culture in the community is something that takes time. But our moderators are the core of everything. These are people that spend a lot of time ensuring that every consumer has an answer to their question, not tagging them in an old stale post of where it occurred, but using that to train a new moderator and how to answer it, citing the old post so they know where it might go from there, or how to prepare a statement better, right? It's an opportunity. Their questions are our opportunities to train, not only our ability to be heard on the things, the values that need to be educated around, but more importantly, to ensure that we're understanding the consumer's need and motivation and inspiring them in the best ways to accomplish for those things, their things, not anything else. And so removing all of the solicitation, removing all of the cussing, and we define those broadly, fosters that type of environment. Like, the biggest question we always get asked is if we're a charity, like, which is funny. Like, it's like, no, it's like as a veteran, like, the first thing I don't ask for a free meal on Applebee's Day either. It makes me uncomfortable. I didn't want to start a charity and have to ask people for money. It was hard enough to tell them what I was going to do and charge them for it for a value they're going to be happy about, right? And so we have charitable ideas and things that we want to do and grow into, but it was never going to be from a need standpoint, right? We're capable. Veterans are capable. Their offers are capable. The loan defaults less than any of the others. Right. The loan from a cost standpoint is less. All of the measurables paint the VA loan as the better loan product, and you as a listing agent, or you as a loan officer that doesn't know any better, like, if you've been told there's something wrong with the VA loan, I promise you this, whoever told you that didn't know. Don't fall to their ignorance and just take it for granted. Like, seek out that information, look and see what the statistics say about veterans and their average income, their average credit scores, their average reserves and assets, and the capability that exists specifically in the VA loan. Because if you try to challenge this statement, you're going to come up wanting. And here's that statement. The VA mortgage is the most flexible, cost-efficient, best, non-discriminatory mortgage on the face of the earth.
Great.
If you disagree with that statement, I invite you to read our white paper, which was a data analysis by our cohort and partner, Polygon Research Center, to use a database analytic approach with HMDA data and our proprietary VA VTB, or Vet Tangible Benefit data, to determine and look at how veterans are treated in lending and what occurs to them, and to track every single thing that we're doing, right? And to look at and compare the different loan types. We put out a white paper to discuss some of the biggest myths out there, some of the things that well-intentioned people continue to say, unfortunately, because they took someone's word for it. And we challenge you to look it up yourself, right? Or to consider the data points that we point out. But either way, you're wrong. So get that VA loan out your mouth.
Well, I'm glad you said that. That was my next question. What do you say to those realtors that say, I prefer you have a conventional loan or a VA? But you guys nailed it, and it's spot on. To your point, this morning I did some analysis on internally about defaults, and guess what showed up less than 2%?
Yep.
VA. I mean, it is crazy. So
here's a key dynamic, Kevin, and you probably know this because y'all work on the backside of it too, but most people don't. A lot of people think the VA works to get people into homes. They do. The VA works harder and has worked harder to keep veterans in homes longer than any of the other products or programs out there. And they've done so in a way that's not cumbersome or not taking care of themselves, like the funding fee. Everyone wonders what the purpose of it is. Well, part of it serves the liquidity needed to do that sort of a thing, to modify notes, to work with the consumer, to keep them in housing so that they don't realize what they did in 2008, which is taking back a house is the worst move the bank can make, right? So keeping veterans in housing is just as important to the VA as getting veterans into housing, which is important.
No, I love what you guys do, and you do a lot around education with the veteran. And I want you to put some context around a statement that you guys made. It says, do you know how to plan with debt, or are you just saving? It's a money statement, and you guys got to give me some context.
I love that. You're just saving and hoping. I think do you know how to plan with
saving and hoping, correct.
Currency is a fickle thing and a funny thing, and most people struggle to really understand it. And I'll put myself in the category of most people also. But I'll tell you this. Currency has liquidity, has buying power, it has measurable risk, and it has cost. Money and debt both have the same things of those. And if you look at the top of your money, it'll say note on it. And as anyone in mortgage can tell you, a note's a promise to repay of some type. So to some degree, I think that money and debt are the same thing. I think people's failure to understand debt is their failure to understand the different cost structures that exist around currency. Currency is buying power. It's a lot of different things. But I'll tell you this, if money does one thing every day, what does it do, Kevin?
Money does everything. It goes down
every day.
Thank you.
If
I was writing notes about what you were saying, so I don't want to go.
If I can take my money that does this every day, and I can fix it to something that has a cost and attached to an asset that does this every day, I can start to flatten out that line. Compounding is the most important thing, and debt gives you a way to not have to force yourself into playing defense all of your life, and sometimes it gives you just enough oomph to get started so that with nothing you can still play offense. My first home changed my life, right? I'd listened to Dave Ramsey. I was saving 20% because, I don't know, he said so, and it was a VA loan. I didn't need it, but Dave said, snowball, man. Snowball. Do you want to be poor all your life? I've been poor. Right? Like everyone's been down, like a lot of people have anyways. But the VA loan, I didn't care if I didn't have a bunch of money in my pocket. Didn't care that my credit was amazing. It didn't care the house had woodpecker holes in it. There was a processor for that too. It was a short sale, right? My first VA home. And I bought it for $332,000 in Colorado in 2012. And it was in Franktown, outside of the market. Knew it was going to be something really cool, potential. Thought I was going to make $150,000 on it, which for me, like in my, like where I came from, come on, like I may retire. Get some bass and put them in a pond or something. I don't know. But that house changed everything. And very quickly it grew in value, and we reinvested into it while we continue to improve our, earning potential in these things. And then the house went from $332,000 to $810,000 in the course of about 5 years, about $20,000 a year invested into it. If that job was a side hustle by gross measurement, that side hustle is working $45.70 an hour for 5.5 years for me. Right? Take the taxes out of it. Okay. You take taxes out of wages too, whatever. Right. But the point is that house changed everything, and it allowed us to reset the stage on some things, gain ground on other things. And so I began to get to play offense with something I never had before without having to leverage things that I didn't. Right. And it happened in a way that was honestly more secure, just as secure, especially if you look at the data compared to what everybody else was telling me was a good idea at the time. Right. And so I call it the 5-year VA house hustle. People stay in houses about 5 years. Capital gains, I think $500,000 a house. That's my round number measurement. That's because one home fundamentally changed everything. So it's like I should be working, the house should be working, my money should be working, the dog should be working, right? Like everything should be working. Work's a good thing, right? And so, boom, like if that's true and you believe that, and that doesn't like get you excited, like what does?
Right.
Well, we know you're not afraid of working. What do you have? 4 companies now? 5? I mean, we know you got your hustle on.
Man, like it's like 7. It's bad.
You don't count. It's the
You just
counting
opened
is
2
bad.
more
That
since
was
last
not even
week.
true because there's 2 more started. They're different, like we have mortgage company and a mortgage and education and training company, and we have a land and cattle company, and we're building a slaughterhouse, and we're building an RV park community, and we have a long-term real estate strategy purchasing thing that I'm not really going to talk about in here because there's too many listening, and I'm doing it now, and there's not a lot of product to buy, but a long-term product that's solely built on the measurement of the debt achieved at purchase on fundamentals that let me buy an investment property like none of you can, with better leverage, better fundamentals, better long-term debt, better rate, better term than literally any of you are getting on properties I'm already picking up a margin and create long-term growth and wealth, right? And so we invest and grow into a lot of different things. We're building a training company. Nathan's like going to head that puppy up because like in his heart, he's a trainer. Like he needs to be training, But the point is like, if you see a problem and you think you can do a better job at it, either do something or shut up.
Love it. Love it.
Build a better mousetrap.
Right.
You're going to complain. It's like, it takes me back to that Tombstone movie. It's like, you're just going to stand there and bleed.
You can do something about it.
You don't want to be that guy in that moment, especially if you just need to stand there and bleed. So don't wait till then. Work and get better before you get there. Anyway, curly bill.
Yep.
No.
Guys, I need to ask you the staple question of the podcast. It's really about defining value for each of you.
Got it.
How do you define your value in our industry? Nathan or Chris, either one can go first. It's up to you guys.
I'll go first. I define my value based on the number of lives helped, and they come back and say thank you. Right? It's something I learned. A lady's name, her name was Michelle, and she was my district manager at Starbucks when I became a shift supervisor. She said, "It is one of my passions in life to become the footnote on the chapter of somebody's biography." And after I've been growing up, I kind of realized that was a big thing for me too. I don't really care how big it is around me, but that the person sometime down the way, like Kevin, Kenny, Christopher, like when we look back at our lives, we're like, man, my life was enriched because we worked together on something. And if we can benefit people around us at the same time, then phenomenal. I was drawn to Christopher's vision for Veta VA because, I've got a background in association management stuff. I just saw it to be a way to serve a community in a different way, a way to serve a community so that I don't care who they work for, they would at least be empowered with knowledge and education to be their own best advocate and make decisions that would set their life on a trajectory. Christopher has a great origin story with his house. I bought my house in 2006, right before the market went whoosh, right? I was an interest only first. I 100% financed that thing with a first and second. I immediately, upon closing that house as a purchase, I cash out refied that second to pay off student loan debt. And I had that house for 10 years, right about that time that interest only loan was about to re-amortize at 20 points. I got that one remodified. But you know where I am now, that one house taught me so much. And I sold it for what I bought it for. And I bought another house, but this time I did it right. This time I knew what I was doing, where I had to go. I placed it in a place that I saw was growing. It was landlocked. People were moving there. And in 4 years, I doubled my money, right? And then I moved to Texas because, space. And so I'm a kid that grew up. I'm a blue-collar kid. My family worked super hard. I'm the first one to go to college in all the generations, and finish college all the way through. Didn't come from anything special. I thought you had to know a doctor to be a doctor. Right? I didn't know you could actually just have a dream and go be a doctor. I thought you had to actually know somebody. And so where I am now, where I want to go, I just want people to go along with me for the ride. Let's just build something great. Christopher said, I'm a trainer. I'm a builder at heart. I love people with a vision. And he's like, I got a vision. I'm like, okay, let's write it down. Let me see it. Can we build this? This is an amazing vision. Let's try to get this done. Now, if we can teach people along the way.
Put a spoiler on it. Yeah, on the back.
Yeah, put a spoiler on the back. Make it go faster. Make it hug the road when you go around the corner. But That's a big part for me. So I just went all the way around that question 3 times, Kenny, but that's for me, right?
A great answer.
Awesome.
How do I define my value in this? I'd say I define my value and I measure it differently. And I do both. And I think that's important for everybody. And I think that if you're burnt out there, it's because you haven't been doing both. And I get burnt out still. It is not a perfect thing, but it's my true north, if you will. Like, I have value and I'm a valuable person regardless of what this industry thinks of me. I could be the worst of the worst in this industry. I could suck at mortgages more than anybody that's going to watch this ever in eternity, and I can still be a valuable person. My daughters find me as a valuable person. So my identity is not wrapped up in my profession is the first thing I'll say, even though it's incredibly important to me and it fits into a lot of my reasonings in life and other places outside of my industry too. But how I define and measure my value in the industry is very simple. I wake up in the morning. Do I still want to help people? Do I still think I can help people? Do I have a plan to help people? And if those things are true and all three of them are ringing the bells, then I'm in a good enough place that that's all I can really focus on as far as a true measurement of something simple to check, a dashboard that makes sense of, am I in the right place? Because when I'm in the right place, that's who I'm at. I am. If I'm not in the right place, I'm like, Nate, I need you to clear Thursday and Friday. I'm going to the ranch again. Monday probably also. This rain. Like, I don't have the desire to serve people. That sucks. Like, I like helping people, right? But measuring my value in the industry is very simple that way. It's, do I have a desire? Do I have a goal? Can I see something? Do I think I'm helpful? And if I can, and those things are true, then I keep helping. And that's my value to the industry. Because if that's not true, I'm not going to be contributing to the industry. I'm going to be contributing in my pocket. I'm going to be doing things so that all of y'all refer me and say, oh, my God, Christopher's beard is so sexy. He's got to do your mortgage. I'm telling you, it's going to be good. If you never had a bearded man do your mortgage, you need to try it, right? Like, I can make everyone say those types of things, but ultimately that it's fleeting. You've been around, like, I haven't been around a long time. I've been in the mortgage industry about 10 years, from the broker channel, non-Dell, full Dell, back to broker, like in family business building. But I'll tell you, like, it's so cliches are so stupid. It's so stupid they're true. You can't chase the money. Like, you have to find a different why that's going to fulfill you. Because if you don't, you'll burn out, you'll run out, and that's exactly when you need to step away from a little bit and figure out what that thing can be, right? And that thing changes over time too. So don't let that disturb you too much. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, your value to me.
I wish you graded the answers after. I would,
Your value to me, you guys, and this is, I'm not just saying this on the show, you guys really make me think. I got to say, anytime I have a conversation with you guys, I leave, whether it's, the flight home or the next day, thinking about something you said that really makes me dig to think, to figure out what it means to me or what my, so I want to just give you guys a comment on that. I mean, I've taken 3 pages of notes because there's things I want to go back and really think about that I could be doing different. But that's the effect you guys have, because it's clear that you're passionate, you guys care, and that to me is your value to the industry. It's real. There's no BS on either one of you guys. It's real. It makes you think. It makes you look at yourself, and that's awesome. So I want to thank you guys for that.
I appreciate that, and that really, I think more than anything, Kevin, and I think back all through all of the education I ever went through. If any educator ever impacted me, it was because of one thing. One thing was true every single time. They inspired me. Right. And it's happened from a few of them, right? It was one lady in high school, poked me in the chest when I graduated. She said, I expect great things from you. Just like that. Like, expect. Like, geez, Miss Bush, take it easy. My parents don't probably expect great. Like, probably pretty good things, maybe. Right? But if you can inspire somebody, don't be concerned about your capacity to educate them yet. Inspire them and be present in their turmoil, in their work, in their challenge, and help them in whatever best ways you can. Because that, I think, is the fundamental, like the root of what it takes to be educated. A person's educated when they choose to be. When they choose to learn, they challenge their well-held reasons and they move forward. And you can't force feed that. So inspire, be present, and be confident that might be enough to help make the difference for them.
That's awesome. Well, I got a few reminders for you guys. One, is Vetted VA Summer Camp is coming up on the 20th to the 24th in Pottsboro, Texas. I'm excited to figure out where Pottsboro is and to wear my cowboy belt that I just bought. I'm super excited. And we also have
Louis Vuitton cowboy belt.
No, the big dates, real leather. Looks like it just was.
Is there a buckle?
He's trying to find Louis Vuitton camo boots.
So, well, Okay, you're going to get me sidetracked. So now the tickets are on sale. They're also on. We also have tickets on sale for EPM Wholesale, which is happening on July 28th and 29th at the Omni Battery in Atlanta. And both Nathan and Chris will be joining us to speak on some panels. So if you want to learn more, make sure you go to VA Summer Camp. Make sure you come over to the EPM Wholesale event. You can go to any of our social channels to find the Everbright link to purchase tickets today. You can also look at Kenny and my Facebooks. We also have the post up there for VA vetted VA summer camp. So there's a lot going on next couple weeks.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Let's just remind them of the speakers at the keynote speakers at the event. It's going to be Tony Thompson of NAMBA, the National Association of Minority Mortgage Bankers of America, Anthony Casa of U Mortgage, and of course Tim Grover, who's the famous coach of both Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. So a lot of great talent coming down at the end of the month.
Yeah, no,
Is there
definitely.
gonna be like a meet and greet? How do I get my name on that list? I'd like to. Can you sign my shoulders? I don't.
We'll get you on there. We'll make a special. Maybe we'll have him as a guest for the next
I'll bring my
episode.
silkies.
Ooh, nice.
I want to thank everyone for listening to the whole Perspective podcast. You know, if you enjoyed this episode, continue the conversation. You can always definitely visit Vetted VA. You can email Kenny and I directly, kphillips@epm.net or kevin@epm.net. We love to answer any questions you have. Or you can go over to the Power Brokers Community Facebook group. And you can also check us out at EPM Wholesale and on Instagram at EPM Wholesale. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.